What up, people? It's the Ilive4Saturdays podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe. And remember last week when I said Alabama is by far the best team in the country? It's not even close. And they look the best this year. Yeah, scratch that. Hey, Clemson Tigers, I apologize, man. I apologize. And I even went against my own metrics. Now, talent-wise, Alabama has the best talent. Okay, I'm not saying that. Raw talent, at least. But Clemson looks just as good as they did last year. Maybe not as organized at the quarterback position, but Kelly Bryant is still really talented. Clemson's 11 sacks not only impressed me, but only confirm to my sacks and turnover philosophy of what football, defensive football, is really about. Now, not only did they out-metric Auburn, they got more possessions and brought more third and longs and second and longs to Auburn's defense or offense, but they just literally shut them the fuck down. Almost literally. 6 points. I mean, that's almost as close as you can get to today's modern football. I know last year, if you look to one of the videos I did last year, the national championship, semifinal, against Ohio State, and I took Ohio State really stupidly. But Ohio State had the better turnovers and the turnover margins, and I took Urban Meyer, even though I shouldn't have. Now looking back, Dabo, of course, and I did give Dabo credit. But the sacks and the tackles for loss were unbelievable for Clemson. It was too much for Ohio State to handle, and it was too much for Auburn to handle this weekend. Like I said, last year's video showed how great Clemson was in sacks and tackles for loss. This year, Clemson is number 2 in sacks and number 3 in tackles for loss. And obviously, all you had to do was watch the game to know that their defensive line is unbelievable. And they almost don't even need metrics in terms of, okay, who can we bring up to blitz and bring up this third and long. They kind of just eat your offensive line, and they go through it, and they just grab your quarterback and throw him down like a rag doll. That's all they really need. So Clemson is a legit title contender this year. I thought they might have taken a step back with losing probably the greatest player in the history of their program. Wrong. Totally wrong. Their defensive line, that defense, still amazing. And obviously they still got talented players on their offense. And hey, let's ask this question. A little fun question for everybody. Who would you pick right now out of these 4 quarterbacks I'm going to give you? And maybe there's a better quarterback out there, and if there is, comment. But out of these 4 quarterbacks, who would you want to build your college football team? Now, I don't care about the offensive part and the X's and O part. If this quarterback goes into your program, you're going to have to build your program to whatever their style of play is. So I don't want to hear, but my coordinator, they like to do. No. Who is the best quarterback do you think can take a team all the way to the national title if you put the right players around him? And by right players, obviously, I mean talented players. All right. You got Lamar Jackson, Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield, or Sam Darnold. I love all 4 of these guys. I would say 3 out of the 4 are going to play in the NFL and will probably get drafted in the first round as a quarterback. Maybe one, Baker Mayfield might have to switch positions. But overall, you can probably build your NFL team around any of these 4 guys. But in college football, obviously, it doesn't really matter in terms of actual natural throwing ability. So far, what Sam Darnold showed me, I don't know if I could roll with him, so I'm taking him away personally. I don't know. Maybe he'll heat up later on in the season. He was much better against Stanford. He actually looked awesome against Stanford, but just so far his whole resume, I can't fully trust him. Now, these 3 guys, Mayfield, Rosen, and Jackson, all exciting players, and I'm actually going to delete Baker Mayfield. Mainly because I have seen him get shut down. Not often, but I haven't seen any of these guys. And not because I'm not talking about their offensive line getting rattled. I'm talking about getting confused by coverages or man-to-man and not being able to throw guys open, and then obviously not having the feet to get open or get into some space and pick up some yards. So that leaves me the last two guys. And I think if I was picking an NFL team, I'd pick Josh Rosen. But I like to have fun. Lamar Jackson is probably the most exciting player I've ever seen. I think he's more dangerous in the college game than Josh Rosen. He gives you the dynamic with his feet to pick up monster yards with his feet, make exciting plays, make plays out of his ass, which, you know, Josh Rosen can do, but he has to rely solely on his arm. I think if Josh Rosen played at Alabama, it probably wouldn't be fair, but if Lamar Jackson played at Alabama, I think they put up so many points, the scoreboards would break. I truly believe that, and that's why I got to pick Lamar Jackson, because in college, he can be more dynamic with his feet. Now, in the NFL, I'm scared for Lamar Jackson. He reminds me of RG3. I haven't seen him slide that much, and I don't know if he's getting a bad habit to just, you know, trying to take shots and keep going. He scares me. He's skinny. He's lanky. Don't tell me about his weight. I really don't know his weight. But he is lanky, and he kind of scares me. He did look like he put on some beef. But I would take, you know, NFL-wise, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen over him because they have more beef. And they could, and Josh Rosen honestly stays in the pocket more. And he'll just take sacks instead of taking monster blows. Like Mayfield, which scares me. But I would take, overall, if I was building a college football team, Lamar Jackson. Write down in the comments, who would you take? Any of these four guys. All these four guys are unbelievable. But me personally, I like to have fun. And I just don't think you can stop Lamar Jackson in college. I just don't think you can. And speaking of Baker Mayfield, my man, Baker, yo, he tore up Ohio State, which was one of the better games of the year, and it's going to be kind of boring in the beginning, but it definitely picked up as the playbook starting to open up. Different types of plays were being run. The coordinators started taking more chances, and Oklahoma ended up with the result, and congrats to them. But everyone on Twitter is either upset or dying at the fact that Baker Mayfield planted the Oklahoma flag on the O in the middle of the field of Buckeye Stadium at the Horseshoe. Now, me personally, if this was the NFL, it's a little Bush League. It's a little Bush League. I'm not going to lie. Especially if it's the NFL. But this is college, man. And I just think you got to get over stuff like this. These guys are young as hell. All these guys. I'm not necessarily for it, but it was a hilarious moment. And I'll be honest. If I was an Ohio State fan, I would have been furious, though, the moment that happened if I saw that. Honestly, I probably would have turned off the TV before that happened. But if I would have saw it on Twitter, I'd been furious and I would have said a few things. But after days later, just get over it. People calling him classless and whatever, all types of names. Just get over it, man. It's not a big deal. At the end of the day, it's just symbolism. If it was, you know, something more serious, like a racial thing or a political thing or whatever the hell, some sort of, you know, gender thing, the sexist stuff, okay. But it's just football, man. People calling him classless. It's just football. Get the fuck over it. You know, again, like I said, I would have initially been upset. Yeah, sure, I would have been like, oh, this motherfucker. I would have been so upset. But come on, man. 5 days later, today's Tuesday, 4 days later, get the fuck over it. 3 days later, whatever. Get over it. It's not a big deal. It's just a stupid circle. It's just a stupid, oh, who cares, man? Get over it. It's not that big of a deal. I was a little upset that he apologized. But you got to remember, he's a kid. And he goes to school, and these people give him a scholarship, so he had to come out and apologize. There was no way he was not, and there's no way the University of Oklahoma was going to allow him to go scot-free with that and just not apologize, because that's just, you know, in the business world, is not smart. And like I said, when it comes to grown men, you know, it's a little Bush League. and a little immature. But, he's a college kid, whatever. I was okay with it in the long run. At the short term, I thought, oh, man, it's kind of fucked up, but also funny. But, in the long run, it's just kind of funny. Ohio State fans, if you don't like it, whenever it comes on TV and you're upset by that, just turn off or change the channel. Hey, man, y'all, if you don't want people to see it, you don't want to see it yourself, stop talking about it. And I know from experience as a Hokie fan, there's some things that's happened to us that we just don't talk about anymore. There's just things that you just have to be quiet. And sometimes in life that happens to you, right? Some embarrassing things. Everyone's got some embarrassing moments. You know how people stop talking about those embarrassing moments? By you not bringing it up again. Stop bringing it up. It was embarrassing for you guys, right? It is a little embarrassing. And if you are still embarrassed by it, stop fucking bringing it up. Because we're going to keep on with these jokes because you keep bringing it up. Ohio State fans, if you don't want this constantly on Twitter, you guys people making fun of you all year, stop bringing it up. Just stop talking about it. Just don't come back with but he's a classless guy. No, just stop it. It's not about that. You want these jokes on you all year? You really want all these jokes? Because Saturday night was a terrible day for Ohio State Twitter. And it was only made worse because Buckeye fans continuously brought it up and tried to fight it. Stop digging a bigger hole for yourselves, man. You gotta stop with that. Just get over it. Learn from other fan bases like ourselves, Virginia Tech. Hey, man, embarrassing things happen. Just stop talking about it so no one ever brings it up again. And last topic. Hey, man, almost no one is talking about that UGA Notre Dame game. That was a freaking badass game. It really was. UGA, the 5th most talented team in the country, and Notre Dame, the 10th most talented team, according to 24/7 Sports. I think a lot of people slept on both these teams because they've been inconsistent in big games. But if you watch that game, my gosh, was there talent all around the field. And a lot of those UGA freshmen that came from the 3rd-ranked class in the country. Notre Dame. We forget about Notre Dame sometimes in terms of talent. But Brian Kelly has done an unbelievable job of recruiting real 5-star and 4-star players. And they had some really talented guys on that field. It was just talented kids all over the field. It was an awesome game. And I only want to bring up the game mainly because of the interesting reactions about coaches after the game. Now, I do want to give credit to Kirby Smart to getting a really nice win on the road against Notre Dame. But let's not forget, Kirby Smart blew a lot of stuff last year. Now, again, now is the second year ever being head coach. I don't want to get too hard on him, but I don't want to get too high on him either. You know what I mean? But congrats to Kirby Smart. Hey, he showed that he can go toe-to-toe with one of the best coaches in the country, one of the best programs in the country, one of the more talented teams in the country, and one of the more hostile environments in the country. He did an awesome job. His kids did an amazing job, better job, obviously. They're the ones actually playing, executing, playing physical with Notre Dame. And Notre Dame, they didn't just take it. There's this bad myth of, people from the North that play football are soft or, aren't strong enough. But Notre Dame was giving them some licks. If you watch that game, Notre Dame was getting on them. It was a very great physical game. And Kirby Smart deserves some credit for that win. Now, to the Brian Kelly part of it, I'm mixed about Brian Kelly. I don't like his coaching philosophy at all. I think just screaming at kids, even if it's, it's rare or it happens once every other game, I just think it's too much, man. I don't agree with his coaching philosophy. I don't think that gets the best out of players. I really don't. I understand you do need to screen them to some kids to get them to work and actually put in work. I totally understand that. I just don't think because a kid makes a mistake, you completely get on them and get in their ear and scream at them. I think that's too much. But besides the coaching philosophy part, hey, results-wise, Brian Kelly is a great coach. It was a tough loss. his kids played well. They executed well. They played hard. There's not much you can ask for. And I don't understand the Notre Dame fans that want him gone. I really don't. Okay, Notre Dame, you want to fire Brian Kelly because he's not reaching the potential you think Notre Dame can get to. But who is going to do that? You guys every fan base wants someone fired, and I get it, right? Like Frank Beamer, we wanted Frank Beamer fired. Yeah, at some point, almost anybody was a better option besides Frank Beamer. Almost anybody, and it got to a point where of pure incompetency and not even understanding the basics of recruiting and the importance of recruiting. So yes, there are some coaches that are like, okay, this guy's incompetent, he needs to leave. We understand that. But what I'm saying, Brian Kelly knows all these things, and he does really well in a lot of things. He's one of the better football minds in the country. His quarterbacks put up numbers. He gets a lot of wins, and he's got unbelievable recruiting classes. For a school in Indiana, in Indy-fucking-Anna. So who the fuck are you going to replace a guy like that with? You guys wanted PJ Fleck last year. And I have another philosophy in these non-Power 5 school coaches that have success for 2, 3, 4 years. You need to build a real program and prove yourself that you can be a consistent program for about bare minimum of 6 years. That's just me personally, what I've seen in college football. And it's just funny to me, you guys don't understand what the solution is, because your solution is not fire Brian Kelly. That's not a solution. That's just bringing more problems. Your solution is who can get done what we need to get done. Firing Brian Kelly isn't going to solve any problems. It can possibly be a step into solving problems that you have. But it's not the solution to your problem at all. In fact, I don't know many coaches that are better than Brian Kelly in this country. I really don't. Maybe you guys like Fuente at Virginia Tech. Maybe you guys like Dabo, Saban, Meyer, Harbaugh. But all those guys except for Fuente aren't leaving their freaking job unless you can throw that money out there. And you're going to have to throw a lot of money to make some of these guys move from where they are to freaking Indiana. So, Notre Dame fans, you guys need to cool it. Stop putting so much pressure on in your program and on your coach, and kind of just deal with it until a great coach that you can reasonably get is available. So, that's it. Like, comment, and subscribe. Be on the lookout for more vids, more podcasts, whatever you want to call it. And peace.